Welcome aboard, passengers. Mega Sim. We are at San Francisco 22nd Street, ready to board the Caltrain. And then once we are on board, we will have a chat, a little discussion around the recap of yesterday's, the 3rd of July's Q&A. In question, the Sand Patch Grade. So let's climb aboard. Funnily enough, I recorded this actual video footage yesterday in readiness of this, so I could then voice over instead of doing it whilst on the train, just because it takes quite a while for the video to come off of the PS4 with what I've recorded. Anyway, let's take a seat. We are on the Peninsula Corridor, as you know. We are forward facing because we wanted to have the engine loco on the front. As we know, that is the F40PH. If you want to go a little bit further, the F40PH to cat. Meow. So yeah, that will be going towards San Jose. Now, I did record this video anyway, which is 44 minutes long, but we're probably not going to do the whole route because, you know, this may be a lot shorter because I'm trying to structure this video a little bit better, and I'm rambling on. So this video is insert time long, and that showed there, so you can see what that is if I remember to do that in the post edit. Anyway, let us have a chat. So the Sand Patch Grade, this was a Q&A just on the Sand Patch Grade. Okay, so before we start, we just need to remind ourselves there are 3 locos, 3 rolling stock that we have got on the Sand Patch Grade. There is the AC4400 CW, which is the newer engine, the newer loco. We have got the SD40, which is a -2 range series that we've got, and then we know quite well on the consoles the GP38-2, which we have seen on the NEC and on the Northeast Corridor, and also this, the Peninsula Corridor. So we know all about that engine, the GP38-2, but we've now got the AC4400 and the SD40-2. So what we're going to do, the main points that we have found from today, from the Q&A, after mulling it over, there are 3 things that we have found that are quite major from that Q&A. First is trees. Trees, 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 foliage and trees. The second point that we have found out is sparks will be flying. That is, sparks will be flying. And finally, where is the donkey? I just thought we would have 3 main points from this recap. So trees, sparks, and where's the donkey? So anyway, going into it, we know that we had senior producer Matt Peddleston, and we had our community, I can't remember his name on that, the community officer, Sam, which is Colonel Failure, as we all know. And yeah, we had a really good chat with that. I think it was about 1 hour and 20 minutes. Just with things that are coming, especially with the Sand Patch Grade. Now, the reason why Sand Patch Grade did not come to Train Sim World 1 on console was because it was too intense for the console. So they said that it took about 2.5 years to make the Sand Patch Grade, and it is amazing. They were trying to learn Unreal Engine, they had the landscaping, but now they have a lot more knowledge on that. So going back, creating better now fidelity, creating better, more detail, but using less of the processing power. One thing, you know, that they learned was the Rhine Roston. They had distance foliage, so foliage in the back, in the distance. So with Sand Patch Grade number 1, they had a lot of blank hills and trees up close, but they were able to kind of do that. But it's using less resources, less work for the processor, and that's what the console wanted. There is a limit, so we know that PCs can go not unlimited, but they have a better range. But with the consoles, the processing power and the RAM and things like that are quite limited, so they didn't want it to affect that. That's why they couldn't put it on the original Train Sim World 1 for console, because it was too slow, it wasn't working. So they've done things a lot more efficiently. But it still looks the same. We've still got the same trains, we've still got the same things like that, but they were able to use multi-threading on the console just to make that a lot easier and a lot smoother for us. So that's where the engine upgrades with Unreal have helped with that. So the sound patch grade is remastered for the Train Sim World 2. It is not a preserved line. They say that the Train Sim World 2020 or Train Sim World 1 sound patch grade is still available for that on the PC, but then you have the remastered version on the Train Sim World 2. Everything is the same track, same mileage, same branch lines, same scope perspective, everything is all on that, but it is doing the same things, but it can cope on the console. And that is where we go to our first point, trees. This is a tree route. The Foliage, Cumberland to Rockwood, is trees, 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 they said. A lot of distance, but there's a lot of hills and mountains. You see the trees in the distance. They were able to sort that out a lot better using the processing power correctly, multi-threading, fidelity on that with the Foliage, so we get decent trees, decent quality trees, because that makes it more realistic. Now, talking about that, hopefully they're going to do that to passengers, because we know from screenshots of the Bakerloo line that station is not busy, and it needs to be. So one thing they did also mention is there was the GP40-2, which was a standalone loco to buy for sound patch. That is not coming yet. We will hear about a potential release on another Q&A, and that was included in the preserved collection things as well. So we don't need to know. We don't know much about that. Now back onto the locos. So what they've done is they've not changed them in that way, on the look in that way, but they know how to create trains now. You know, things like cutting the brakes, ways of starting up, cutting the brakes, generated field switch, things like that. Sound patch didn't have it. It used to chuck you into the loco and went, here you go, get on with it. Whereas the AC4400 has a dial into screen where you can configure the brake settings. The screens are optimized. The on-board screens have had great inefficiency in the previous one. Now they work much better. And they had brake control issues, much better now. But they say that the audio is the same audio of the train and the horn and things like that. But it just looks a lot better and works a lot smoother for us. Originally, they also had random cars when they were spawning, so random cars, trucks on the back. Some people didn't like that randomization because it wasn't loaded correctly, so it was too light, and now it goes into a proper weight simulation, which they found out from Peninsula Corridor, which we're on right now. A good weight simulation, load regulation for the brakes, you know, things like that, and nice formations. They've got a good curation. There's tons of different things, that different versions of it will happen. So they have said heavy trains are heavy. So the console originally had about 20 maximum cars. They can now have 40 and run at a good rate. PC will have more, but that's 130 tons each. They said that's like 5,200 tons of weight. That, and then especially 1.8% grading on that slope. If it's raining, you're gonna struggle, but it's realistic. Now, there's usually 100 cars on this route, but just for performance, there is a 40 car limit for the console. But the goal that they've had is to make it feel right. How does it feel? Well, it's double the length, 6 times the weight. That's what they wanted to bring to sound patch grade on console and on PC. As we know, console is actually, there are more console users than there are PC users for Train Sim World, which I didn't know. I heard that the other day. Now, services, they have changed up the services a lot more. They've now got helper locomotives, so we know what helper locomotives are. You've got 2 on the front, you may have 2 on the back to help you push you up the hill. That's what they're doing. Services where you kind of are a helper locomotive, couple onto the back, push it up, then go back down as your 2 again. So there's a few service modes for that. Now there is this DPU thing that they were talking about, which was a distributed power unit. Effectively, the AC4400 has that where it's electronic, so you could be in the front and electrics and codes, the computers would tell the back to increase, whereas the GP38 and the SD40 don't have that, so it's a simulation of some guy in the back or the front, and you kind of tell them to go up and down. So I don't know how that's going to work, so we'll wait and see. It could just be a simulation where you increase the power, then the front one will increase the power, etc. But it's really good. They said that there's going to be like 3 locos, mostly 2 or 2 front, 2 back, and there's one scenario with 4 locos on the front. And we get more AC4400. There weren't enough services on the AC4400 on the original. The new one, most services, you can choose any of those 3 locos that are available. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Now jumping over to, so there were a few things they mentioned as well, which we'll mention at the end with regards to Scenario Planner, but we will jump that and come back to it. Now this is where we start looking at the UI and with the adhesion. So when you start a service, you used to be chucked in. Now you get a window that comes up and it tells you what's going on, how long it is, where you've started, where you need to end, what the weight of your car is, things like that. And you can just press the pause button and it will give you that information as well. And as they said, the adhesion has been pimped as a big thing for Trainsim 2. It just means that there is no grip. If you are in rain or snow and you're going up a hill and you've got a 5,000 ton carriage of freight behind you, you ain't gonna move or you ain't gonna stop, because you've got to be careful with what you are doing. If you go down a hill and you put the brakes on, you will stop and it's easy. But now with the adhesion, the variable adhesion, it varies how wet, how snowy it is to how much grip you have. Now dry conditions, similar to what they used to be, but don't forget that the AC4400 does have a wheel slip kind of control, so it kind of helps it to not have the wheel slip. But we're talking about the carriages here and the cars and the amount of weight that's behind you that will cause an issue, as in for real life scenario kind of thing, simulation. And that's what we want. We want it, they want it to be spectacular. They want it that when you apply the brakes and the wheels just stick and it starts skidding, that's when the sparks will fly. The sparks will fly off. Now I'd like to see that on like the Bakerloo line, maybe sparks on the electric, on the third rail or the ICE. I'd love to see sparks fly on that. But yeah, this is about the applying brakes and just skidding down the hill. That is going to be good. Now we do still have sand, which is unlimited. They said it's not going to take every grip away. It's only giving you a 10% improvement, which is realistic for this. So you will still get slipping, but you do have the sand there just in case. But they had our overpowered brakes before, but now they're less effective, more realistic on that. Now looking at the scenarios, there are 8 scenarios. There are 65 timetable services, and with the spectrum of the services, they are all over the place. You have got helper locos, you've got switching, you've got A to B routes, you've got all sorts that are coming in to this. You can bring a loco into service, start in the early morning, park it up, train has arrived, take a loco off that's broken, send it to the yard. All of this side of things. This is what they wanted to do. Before it was just 2 hours A to B and it was boring. Now there's 30 minutes, between 30 and 70 minute services that we will get to see and we will get to do, and we can do it any time we want. And all 3 locos can be shut down cold and rebooted, which is nice. So you could have, say, 2 locos on the front, you shut down the second one, start with the first. If you're losing control, start it back up, the second one, and you can carry on. So yes, we are loving the sound of this. Also, there are 2 coal mines, Rockwood, Acton Mine. You can load up your cars, no unloading, because there is no unloading in Cumberland. It's not really an endpoint in that way, but you can load up cars in a couple of the services and scenarios as well. that was pretty much it in terms of the main stuff on the Train Sim World. I may have said it too quickly, but I apologise. But I wanted to make sure that we got that on there. Now, is there a donkey? Was one of the big questions. They don't know. It might be somewhere. There is always a donkey, but they have not found it yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and find that donkey when we start. Or if you find the donkey before me, let me know in the comments of the video or a video in the future. But it's going to be good. They played the trailer, which we'll play at the end, because there was a really good version that they put on there. But there was one really cool thing that they talked about, which was the scenario planner. Now, the scenario planner, let me just go back to my notes on that. There it is. So, scenario planner, possibilities, what can you do? So the scenario planner literally is A to B with stops in between. There's no like, can I start with some switching and then move on to this and put some trucks there and pick them up? No. It is A to B. That's all you're going to get with scenario planner. So I think for sandpatch grade, it's not great in that way to start with if you're looking at freight. With Bakerloo and the Cologne line, yes, scenario planner is great. But this is where it changes here. This is where there is a way. So what happens is they have set that you cannot put trains on different lines that aren't compatible. So that means Bakerloo line is third rail, ICE is overhead, sandpatch grade is diesel. So technically you can't put it on because of the electrics and the power and things like that. But there was a lot of feedback, and I think we all wanted it. Remember Microsoft Train Simulator? You could put any train on any route. And this is what they're saying. You can. You can switch off the settings. So that is where you can tick a box, all rules off, anything you want. And they put some epic screenshots up. So we're going to have a look at them now. So the first one there is the ICE going around the corner, round Man's Corner. So that is the first one, and that looks cool. Now we know that there's no electric, but it's cool to have it. So you can do this in scenario planner. The next one was the Bakerloo line. Bakerloo line on there as well, going through some trees. We haven't got any underground trains there, but I like that. And finally, the third one, all three trains all at the same time. So you've got the ICE, you've got the AC 4400 there, and you've got the Bakerloo line on the right hand side as well. So they have said you can get an AC 4400 into the tunnel of the Bakerloo line. Yes, you'll probably be clipping the tunnel in the simulation, but people wanted it. They want to have fun. That's what it is. You've got the real life simulation, and then you've got the let's have some fun. So that was really cool. I am looking forward to seeing that. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the trailer once again. So full credit again goes to Trainsimulatordotcom, Train Sim World Dovetail Games. But I like it because it has some extra commentary by the one and only Colonel Failure. So let's watch that now.
Ooh. Ooh. Trains. Pull the buttons. Switch the lever. Look at the lights. It's another train. Where's it going? That's a train too. You cut for me. Raw power. I ought to stop doing that.
So yeah, I personally prefer that version. Ooh, trains. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Colonel Failure, for that. Full credit again. Dovetail Games, Trainsimulatordotcom, Train Sim World 2. So that was pretty much it with regards to the Q&A. So we know that there are going to be Q&As coming up of the Cologne, Aachen and the Bakerloo line. Plus there will be a Q&A all about the preserved rail lines, so we know that there is a list that will be coming out. We are not getting all of them at the same time because they need to make them work, so we may get the major ones first and get them slowly coming in. So looking forward to seeing that list, seeing which order they're going to go in. But yeah, there's some good stuff that's going to be happening soon. Also, we get to see all the new. Soon we'll see a list of the upcoming projects of Train Sim World 2, which I'm really looking forward to too. But no, thank you so much for watching. Great recap to have. If you have any questions, just let me know. Don't forget there are the forums, and there will be the Q&As coming up again in the coming weeks. Hopefully we'll get them, I think it was 3 weeks since the last one, so hopefully we'll get them in a couple of weeks. Because yeah, we are literally 1 month, 2 days away from the release of Train Sim World 2. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos and click that notification bell, ding-a-ling-ding-ding, for more videos. With regards to a video this afternoon, I may postpone that to Sunday, to tomorrow, of the Northeast Corridor, just because I've put on quite a few videos recently. I don't want to put another one again today. We'll put it on tomorrow for 3 o'clock, so we've got one every day, which is nice. So what was it, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so that's pretty cool. I like that. And then back to normal on Wednesday again. Got quite a bit of work to do next week, so won't be able to. I've got some videos coming which won't mention this Q&A because I've pre-recorded them. So literally tomorrow's NEC and then the Wednesday one as well is not talking about anything. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at MegaSimUK, and we will see you again on the next video. I still think we are way ahead. We've only done half the journey, but it's nice that we've stopped at a station. I don't know which one because I haven't been watching. But yeah, thank you again, and we will see you again soon. This is MegaSim signing off. See you later, guys. Bye bye.